finally, we can play with calculations, and Excel is really good at that. So let's start with something easy. Whenever you have a calculation, you start with the equal sign, and you can use 1 plus 1. Okay, and the result will show right there, equals 2. You can double click it, and you can change it how you want it. So say I want to do 1 times 3. Maybe I want to do something like 4 divided by 2. Or maybe I want to do something like 2 to the second power. So we use the caret sign to the second power. Okay. So we have to figure out what's the markup amount if it's 109.5% of the cost. Now these numbers are not so easy to work with. So what if we have, for example, I don't know, I have a product that is $20 and I'm wondering what is 10% of it. So I just type 10% and I want to create now a formula. So what's 10% of the 20? If you think about it, probably it's 2. But how can we do it? We can type 10% and we need times that by 20. Okay, and we got the number. Now Excel is so good in doing the calculations that we don't really have to type the numbers. The way to do it, so say I want to now have 30 and I want to see what's 10% of 30, and this number does not change here. So what I want to do is, instead of typing myself the percentage, I can click the cell reference is called, so I click on where I have 10%, which is M5, and instead of the actual cost or product price, whatever you want to have, you click it. Okay, so now if you change 30 to something else, it should give you 10% of that. So that's pretty cool. And we try to apply the same thing. So now our numbers are here, and we just need to times them. So how do you start the formula? You need to actually start with the equal sign for Excel to recognize what you're doing. And remember, we have a cost times the markup rate. It's just as simple as that. That's pretty cool. It just gave us also the dollar amount over here. If you don't have it, you can always just go and format it. And now I'm going to show you something else. You do not need to type a formula for each of these rows. Instead, remember when we filled in the series, you can use the fill handle over here and just hold down your left button of the mouse and just drag it down. Okay, and then you can remove this 0. This means 0. There's nothing here, so 0 times 0 is 0. Okay, now another way to do this would be even easier to just double click in the bottom right corner. So double click brings it down. Okay. Now what is the retail price? So it's the cost plus the markup amount. I'm going to push Alt. As you can see here, you have all these shortcuts. If you push Alt, you can use all those letters associated. Okay, so the retail price should be equal sign. I want to have the cost. So that's the cost. It's actually the money that we paid to produce that product. So we want to, have a retail price that is more than what it cost us. So C6 plus the markup amount. Okay. And there's a trick. You can use Control plus Enter to just stay in the same cell to be able to now just double click to bring it down. Remember? And you can check your formula just by double clicking to see if they worked correctly. I type now some percentages over here. I need to format them. So I'm going to hit the percent style. And we need to calculate the sale price. So what's the sale price? If you have a retail price, you have to take off 15%. Okay. So we can again try this formula with some simple numbers. Like for example, you have something that is $40, okay, and you want to take off again 10%. So what are you going to pay for that? 40% of $40 minus 10%. So that's exactly how you're saying it's $40 minus 10%. 10% of what? 10% of the product. Okay? It's exactly what we calculated at the top. 25 times 10. Now it's 40 times 10%. And remember, we need to actually use cell references. So instead of 40, I can just click it. And why is that? Because if you change these numbers, I want to try now 80, which should be double, right? 72. Okay, so now we can apply the formula. And if you actually want, you can copy the formula, Control C, and let's place it here. It should work, because what happened here, you see it happened with blue and red, and they are next to my actual formula. So it's the same position as here. And Excel is able to figure out relative positioning. So if you move a formula, it will just move the cells containing that formula. But that's a sale price. Maybe we need to put a dollar sign there and bring it down and just delete this. The actual profit we're going to make would be the cost, the sale price, sorry. So that's the money we get, right? Minus what we paid. So that would be the cost. And actually, let me show you how you can create a formula quickly. You don't have to do this. So these are just some shortcuts. But you can actually select the entire column. And then you start your formula. So equal sign. And we can have the sale price minus the cost. And to finalize, you use Control Enter. Okay? Control Enter. And this is it. Now the profit margin would basically be what is the profit amount out of the sale price. So how much money are they making? What is that as a percent of what the customer is paying? Okay, so equal sign, and that's the profit amount, and the division sign, do you remember? Would be the forward, the slash, and then you divide that by the sale price. And you can use Control Enter, and that's a percent. If you want to show decimal or not, you can do it here, and we can bring it down. And let's remove this, and this means division by 0 because there's no sale price here, so you try to divide the sale by 0. Okay, but we don't need that anyway.